Now, Mother Jones has just published a huge report about foreign-born women who once worked for Trump through his company named Trump Model Management. Now, this company is alleged to have regularly broken immigration laws in order to exploit these young models. Now, Mother Jones first talked to Canadian-born model Rachel Blais, Rachel Blais, and she gave them detailed documentation showing that yes, she had indeed worked for Trump Model Management for about 6 months. Well, she worked in total for 3 years for that company, but the first 6 months, she didn't even have proper documentation. She was a undocumented immigrant working in the United States. Are you surprised? I mean, frankly, I was a little bit surprised. Even though I knew the previous story where Donald Trump, his companies regularly employed construction workers who are undocumented immigrants to work on his buildings, his construction projects. But see, what's surprising about this is the role that Donald Trump actually played in this agency. And that's later on in the story. Now, first, as Raw Story reports, 2 models from other countries, given the pseudonyms Anna and Kate to protect their identities, told the publication that the agency never even bothered to obtain work visas for them, for Anna and Kate. Apparently, you had to work for your visa. But wait, that's illegal. Well, I'll get to that too. According to the law, foreigners who visit the United States as tourists, as these women generally come in as, are not permitted to engage in any sort of employment unless they obtain a special visa, a process that typically entails an employer applying for approval on behalf of a prospective employee. Employers risk fines and possible criminal charges for doing undocumented labor. So here's the thing, right? Trump brought in these models, some as young as 14, to work without a visa by having them lie about being tourists. Oh, we're just here to be a tourist to the United States. And then they end up working as models or doing photo shoots, whatever, right? Now, the 3 former Trump models said that Trump's agency was aware of the complications posed by their foreign status. Anna and Kate said the company coached them on how to circumvent immigration laws. Kate recalled being told, quote, "When you're stuck at immigration, say that you're coming as a tourist. If they go through your luggage and they find your portfolio, tell them that you're going there to look for an agent." Jeez. Now, as well as these same models claim that Trump's agency encouraged them to deceive customs about why they were visiting and told them to lie on customs forms on where they intended to live. Well, there's another thing, right? Now, it's interesting how they brought out where they're intending to live, because they also described the living conditions in which they were living as being incredibly uncomfortable and expensive. Now, I also have to note that many of these models really didn't get paid all that much for their work. Now, that's also against the law, right? According to 3 immigration lawyers consulted by Mother Jones, even unpaid employment is against the law for foreign nationals who do not have a work visa. They said if Anastasia Tonello, a global head of the U.S. immigration team at Laura Devine Attorneys in New York, told Mother Jones that if the U.S. company is benefiting from that person, that's work. Which this company was definitely benefiting from the work that these models were doing. Now, she also says these rules for immigrants are in place to protect them from being exploited, and that U.S. companies shouldn't be making money off them. But unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Trump actually made millions of dollars off of this modeling agency that used undocumented labor. Amazing. Now, here's the thing, right? Since these models were here illegally, This agency ended up having tremendous power over their lives and could essentially do whatever they wanted because these women were living in fear of being deported now and losing their modeling opportunities. That fear allowed the agency to force its models to live in small but expensive apartments whose monthly rent left them little to no money, while the company pocketed the rest. Now, these apartments, as I mentioned, were incredibly small, incredibly cramped. From the article, according to the three former models, Trump Model Management housed its models in a 2-floor, 3-bedroom apartment in the East Village near Tompkins Square Park. Now, that particular apartment building is, well, Mother Jones didn't release the data on it because people who are living there are actually model tenants. So they're not being housed there anymore as far as I know. But when Blais lived in the apartment, she recalled a Trump agency representative who served as a chaperone had a bedroom to herself on the ground floor of the building. A narrow flight of stairs led down to the basement where the models lived in 2 small bedrooms that were crammed with bunk beds, 2 in one room, 3 in the other. An additional mattress was located in a common area near the stairs. At times, the apartment could be occupied by 11 or more people. Can you imagine that? 11 or more people. This is stuff that we hear about with China and Foxconn. This is Foxconn without the suicide nets. That's crazy. Now, Kate said, "We were herded into these small spaces. The apartment was like a sweatshop." In one story, Kate recalled how she had picked the top bunk near a street-level window in the hopes of getting some fresh air. She awoke one morning to something splashing her face. She thought, "Oh, maybe it's raining today." But when she looked out the window, she said, "I saw the one-eyed monster pissing on me. There was a bum pissing on my window, splashing me in my Trump model bed." Such a glamorous industry, she said. These models are getting pissed on. Almost, in some cases, literally. Jeez, and if that's not bad enough, here's what they were being charged for that luxury. A detailed financial statement provided by Blais shows that Trump's agency charged her as much as $1,600 a month for a bunk in a room she shared with 5 other women. Kate said that she paid about $1,200 a month. $1,200, $1,600 a month for that. For that. You've got to be kidding me. For comparison, in the summer of 2004, an entire studio apartment nearby was advertised at $1,375 a month. They could have gotten a much better place. But oh wait, that's right. They're undocumented immigrants that Trump brought over. Oh, jeez. Look, I know it's New York, right? And I know that rent is really expensive. I get that, right? But Jesus, Herbert Walker, Christ, that is insane for sharing a bunk bed with 5 or a room with 5 other women. That's insane. Kate called this highway robbery. This is unreal, the level of exploitation that we're seeing here. So how bad is the exploitation? Well, according to Blais, I only got 1 check from Trump models, and that's when I left them. I got $8,000 at most after having worked there for 3 years and having made them tens of thousands of dollars. Holy crap. She sums up her experience as, quote, like modern day slavery. And look, little side note here. You work there long enough, you prove your worth, right, to Donald Trump, and the company will actually get you an H-1B visa, right? Well, look, it's kind of funny because on the campaign trail, Trump was kind of against H-1B visas. He said, no exception H-1B visas. We got to give these jobs to Americans. To America first. Really? But you were importing models and making them work without visas. Basically breaking immigration law. I thought a country without laws, we don't have a country. Without borders, we don't have a country. These employers, they got to stop exploiting people. with these H-1B visas. We got to put a stop to that. Jesus, man. Look, we know why he's speaking so harshly against undocumented immigrants, because he employed them. He employed them. And he's one of the people who abused the H-1B system. As Mother Jones notes, it's not like Trump didn't know about this. He was actively involved in the running of this company. In fact, he had personally signed models who have participated in his Miss Universe and Miss USA competitions, where his agency staff appears as judges. Melania Trump, his wife, was a Trump model for a brief period of time after meeting Donald Trump in the late 1990s. Now, remember, Melania Trump has also been accused of working without a visa, going through the same program. The hypocrisy of this man. He knew the whole time, gaming the system the whole time, and then comes out there and rails against immigrants. They're stealing your jobs. They're stealing your jobs. But here he is. He's caught red-handed, smuggling in illegal immigrants and then exploiting the hell out of them. And one of his former models, Kate, said Trump is essentially two-faced. He says, or she believes that Trump has been fooling American voters with his anti-immigrant rhetoric, given that his own agency had engaged in the practices that he has now denounced. She says he doesn't like the face of a Mexican or a Muslim, but because these models are beautiful girls, it's okay. He's such a hypocrite. Couldn't say it better, man. Wakey, wakey, Republicans. Donald Trump is a lying, law-breaking con man. He exploits anybody he can, any situation he can, in order to make a buck. This guy isn't a savvy businessman. He's a cheat, a snake oil salesman. And guess what? His next mark is you. He wants you to vote for him, to put him in the highest office in the land. You're being duped, man. This is who Donald Trump is. Right here. How much more evidence do you need to know that Donald Trump is a fucking con man? How much more? Look, with all the stuff that's out, if you don't know by now, with everything that's out there, about who the real Donald Trump is, then I guess you never will. Hey everybody, if you liked this video, then please like this video and share. And if you want to see more like this, then please hit that subscribe button below.